Folks, Pastor Rocky Branch, hope you're doing well today. Well, of course, today is the Sunday before Christmas, and I hope that you have everything in order because time is quickly running out. Let me talk to you about that for a minute. You know, Christmas is a time of giving that everyone kind of stresses over. They stress over, well, am I going to get the thing that I asked for? I know of one family one time that just had a catalog. And they would go through the catalog and they would circle what they wanted. They'd write their name on it and they'd give it back to the mother of the home and provide everything that they needed as far as what was available. And that's okay. People are wondering, am I going to get my iPhone or my tablet or iPad or whatever, the next gadget, or am I going to get the clothes, the boots, the watch, the car, maybe in some cases. And all those things begin to add up. And in our mindset, we're scrambling, trying to make sure that we give people what they want. Well, Christmas time, if you go back to what we consider Christmas time to be in the book of Luke, as the story is told of Mary and Joseph, Matthew also, of course, speaks of that event. In the process of time, it was not a happy time. Let's look back at what God gave when He gave Jesus. Now, of course, anytime a child is born, that's a happy time, but the world wasn't in a happy place. And let's see what God gave His Son. What did Jesus come into? What did Jesus get when He came to earth? Well, He didn't get a bed in a decent place. And no one that's watching me would even dare consider having your child in a barn or in a rock cave with a rock manger, a feeding box for an ox, or you wouldn't think of that. That's what Jesus got. God gave His Son, and His Son received, at this time that everybody's given everything, a cave with animals around. And the first people that showed up with any recognition were abominable people. According to the Scripture, shepherds were an abomination to the Egyptians and most of the world for that matter. So the friends wasn't that great. And certainly they didn't have anything to bring except the stench of the sheep, and proclaimed that they had heard a vision and seen, or heard a sound and seen a vision. So Jesus comes into the world in a place that would be, well, disappointing for any of us. And the first group that came to the nursery didn't look the most dressed up in town. And then Jesus continued, as God blessed Him, He had His whole life questioned. You know, when you think about what you're getting, what did Jesus get? He got questioned, He got accused, He got chased out of town. They tried to arrest Him, tried to kill Him. I mean, Jesus didn't get the fabulous things of His day. Why? Well, Jesus came to do the work of the Father. Now, Jesus' blessings came in helping other people, not looking to receive, but looking to give. And not only give, but give the right thing. You see, Jesus, when He lived, many followed Him, but many didn't follow Him. And one of the points of the message today is this is the last Sunday before Christmas. Wednesday's Christmas Eve, and we have a beautiful Christmas Eve service planned here at the church at 5:30. And I hope you, if you can't come here, I hope you go somewhere. But my point is that sometimes we get wrapped up in this commercial Christmas and we forget about the Christ of Christmas, because Jesus didn't receive the best of His day. Mary and Joseph didn't go in debt to give Jesus anything. They didn't have it to go into. What was important then should be important now. And that's not what you get, but what you can give. God knows everything, and God loved us so much He gave His Son, and He knew His Son was coming into a place that would be unseemly for everybody watching me and everybody in the world for that matter. Not only that, but the Father knew that His Son would be mocked and rejected and ridiculed and condemned. He knew His Son would be put on a cross. That's what He gave His Son. And that's what He opened up the windows of heaven with all the splendor and the glory of that great place. And he said to his son, I give you earth. I give you pain, sorrow, turmoil. I give you the burden to carry the weight of men on your shoulders. Christmas has been changed. Christmas has been moved. Oh, it's still about giving, and it's still about getting, but I'm afraid the resources have changed. I'm not opposed to Christmas at all. I love the Christmas songs. Anyone that knows me knows that I play them all year long. And I preach revivals, and I'm in other churches and churches that I've pastored. We sing Christmas songs all year long. Has nothing to do with that. I like the Christmas song. I like Christmas season. I like the decoration. I think they're wonderful. But I think the motive has changed. And I think instead of us worrying so much about whether little Tommy or little Tammy or little Teddy or whoever gets just exactly what they want, which is, there's nothing wrong with gifts. Gifting is a very important part of living. So there's nothing wrong with getting or receiving. It's the motive. Leaving Christ out of Christmas is not necessarily how you write it with Xmas, but it's how you live it and what you do with it. I would hope that this Christmas would be different than any other. Not in the fact that gifts are not given, because I think that's a part of expectancy. But I think if we were to consider really what God gave His Son at Christmas, that we consider Christmas. This time of year probably wasn't actually when Jesus was born anyway, but that's what we've established and that's what we do. But what did God give His Son at this time that we celebrate? Well, it wasn't good. Mary and Joseph loved Jesus, quite obviously. And He's the promise, of course. But the surroundings, the situations, the stress, the strain, within 2 years. Within 2 years they had to flee to Egypt. Joseph challenged in this environment. Today is a good day, and today is a day of choice for you and for me. And what are we going to do with it? Well, I encourage you to make sure that you continue to keep tradition alive and give some things and gifts to your children, and all those good things, and whatever you need to do. But don't forget what God gave His Son at this time. And He gave Him an enormous challenge. So bearing fruit is not a choice. It's a responsibility. So let me encourage you to be responsible this year. Those commercials are about drinking and driving and texting, and all should be responsible, obviously. But let's be responsible in our living and in our giving, and certainly in our receiving. And I hope that if you do this, well, I know God will bless you for it. God bless you. We love you, and goodbye.